Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number 202-203C. This is a set of interlocking weather stripping, and this is a two-piece set, and I'm going to remove it from the packaging so that we can get a better look at it. So this interlocking weather stripping is going to be something that you would use at the header of a door opening. This material would prove to be incredibly effective at helping you weather seal a door. When it's all said and done, it's going to look like this. Okay, door is going to open out. It's going to lock right into there. So this is the header portion. Let's do these one at a time. That's the header portion. This is going to go on the face of the header. You have an integrated drip cap here. You've got a lip that the U-shape that has the inserted seal in it is going to communicate to. Just like that. Let me do it this way. I guess it doesn't really matter now, does it? Okay. Door is going to come out and open like this. Going to connect right here. It's a two-piece system. Very typical and common. We don't sell a ton of this, and I just think it's because people don't, they're not stakeholders in terms of solving the problem of mystery water getting in places, but you can see how incredibly effective this sort of condition would help keep water out. I would run the top piece, the header piece, which is going to be your part number 202. I would run that continuous on the header all the way across, outside of door to outside of door, single doors or double doors. I would then order your pieces a little bit, your door pieces would obviously be installed separately. Okay, it's also really great when you're using, they state that it's ideally suited for doors with transoms. Sure, anything up above the header is going to be ideal for that sort of application. This material could certainly be used at the lock style as well, I suppose, if you wanted to make that happen, but it would be unusual to see it anywhere but at the head of an opening. And I generally will supply that interlocking threshold to people who have had doorways and have had water infiltration. And when people add interlock weather stripping, or at least drip caps, it becomes incredibly effective at sealing the top of the door, whether it be from occasional wind and rain, or you live somewhere. San Diego rains, this many days a year. Southern Florida rains that many times a day for 6 months, every day for 15 minutes. So you're going to want to be able to do as much as you can to help keep that water out, because what happens is steel doors will succumb to rust, and they will do so quickly when proper measures aren't taken to keep the water from getting on the interior of the door itself. Case in point will be a new coffee shop opens up, and I might cycle through that drive-through once a week or once a month or twice a day for 2 years. Or I'll start to go to a place that's only been there for a couple of years, and sure enough, the bottom of that door and the bottom of that frame, you can already start to see surface rust occurring. But why is it at the bottom of that material and not elsewhere on the unit? Well, my theory is what happens is the wall above the structure, it could be a movie theater where it's 30, it's in effect a 3-story building. That water and all that square footage, 6 foot wide, 30 plus feet tall, is a sail and collects all that water. Water hits the lintel, comes back to the face of the frame, down the 2-inch, in the seam between the top of the door and the other side of the header, drips down, continues to work its way through the bottom of the door, collect and pool at the bottom, or spend most of its time there, because now it's not running anywhere. and will start to eat that door away from the inside. And a little known fact, steel doors aren't treated on the outside like they are on the inside, like they are on the outside. The adhesive of a core doesn't stick to a prime coat over like you would have a prime coated door on the outside. So you've got some raw steel in lots of cases. Plus, when it's welded, you know, that's interrupting whatever sort of corrosion resistance may be there, if any at all. Preventing that water from getting to the top of the door is where the solution begins and ends. And drip caps are so incredibly effective that people that I've sold material to, weather stripping, when we've added in drip caps, become forever after someone who will advocate that drip caps are as much as a part of the weather stripping as a threshold would be. So incredibly important to have. Maybe not this interlock style, but Reese has their R201 drip cap that will work as well, but interlocking would be really great. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. You know, obviously going to spread that out a little bit. And that insert that's in there just will come out if you were to pull it out, but it's very typical. Okay. Now let's go over some dimensional properties of each piece. Overall height, they're not really giving us much to work with in terms of the header portion, but let's give it a go. Overall height, about 1 1/8 inches. You can hold that tape measure up to the end of it, and you can kind of gauge where all that comes into play. Okay. Projection, I'm going to go with about 3/4, maybe 13/16. Then the door portion, that's going to have an overall height of about 1 inch. And we can again play with that tape measure and see where everything falls in. According to the catalog, and there is a link below this video to the product catalog that tells us that you'll be able to buy this material in the C finish for clear anodized, which is what this color is, a very nice, consistent, clear anodized finish over aluminum. D for dark bronze, and then G for gold as well. You can do it in any of those 3 colors. It's going to include fasteners in a complementary finish. This is just a smooth back situation behind here. I might be prone to, you know, want to maybe spread some poly seam seal on the back of this after I've dry fit the unit, pre-drilled my holes. I'd be real tempted to run a little bit of poly seam seal down the back of this. Good caulk that will really incredibly durable, remains flexible, good temperature, and will give you a waterproofing sort of aspect as well. Okay, so I would consider that. On that link to the product catalog, you're also going to see the L angle hook along with the looped over item. That would be appropriate for, you know, a pull side application on a hinge, pardon me, on a lock style. I sure wouldn't try to use it on the hinge style, because I don't think you're going to have the room inside of there to make it turn. Although the client that has bought this material is indeed doing that. There's also the interior mounted material, and as you study that, you'll see how the relationship of the part numbers and how they come together change depending on whether it's the hinge side or the strike side and the header, the way that those pieces need to articulate against each other. Magnetic weather stripping happens to be on that page as well. Now these are listed in the site in lots of different lengths, everything from 2 foot to 8 foot. You can have longer lengths. Freight usually is an obstacle when it gets to small quantities and longer lengths, so we can quote that for you. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces and indicate in the comment field the net length you'd like for us to cut the material back to. The reasoning is it will save you the trouble of cutting it. But also, if you had to take this 40-inch piece and cut it down to, say, 38-inch for some reason, you know, you're going to be stuck cutting that hole off, that slotted hole that's there. The next one's all the way over here, and so on. So if you order a custom length, we'll not only give you the proper length, but the proper distance from each end for the slotted holes, and all the way down. That slotted hole also helps compensate for a misdrilled hole. That drill bit has a tendency to walk a little bit before it pierces in, regardless of if you've not used a center punch, regardless of it being steel, stainless, aluminum, wood, fiberglass, bronze, whatever you're going into. So that's very helpful in that regard. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's website within our their page within our site, where you can view not only all of the Reese products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Reese set? This is a set. You're going to get the 202 and the 203 as a set when you order one of these in whatever the prescribed length is that you need. Any questions on this or any other Reese product, a company that I'm very partial to when it comes to weather stripping, or any other Reese product whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much.